Hello and welcome to HITC Sport. Right, so on this channel, I'll admit, I've had some terrible ideas. Like the WAG video, jumping into an ice cold lake, chucking my phone in a toilet, choosing to wear this goddamn scarf. But, you know, there's also been some good ideas on this channel, like, But this idea, though, ranks up there as one of the worst. And not just on this channel, in life. But we'll do it anyway, come on. Let's take a look and see what the Premier League table would look like if your current team was managed by the same fella who was in charge 10 years ago. Let's take a look at who your manager was in late 2009 and see how they would do. So, for example, a now 77-year-old Sir Alex Ferguson, after 6 years out of the game, being asked to coach the likes of Jesse Lingard and Anthony Martial. How would he do? Yeah, I know it's a stupid idea, but just watch the damn video anyway. 20th Norwich. Okay, let's be honest, Norwich are pretty much doomed already. And that's with the guy who just steered them into the top flight playing some delightfully beautiful football. They're not doing so well at the minute. Could it be worse, Norwich fans? Yes, it could. You could have Paul Lambert at the helm. Yeah, he did well 10 years ago, but that's just it. It was 10 years ago. You bring him in now, a man who's overseen plenty of relegations, 4 goddamn sackings, and now spends his weekend stuck on the bus to Fleetwood Town and Accrington Stanley. Oh, good lord, you'd be relegated within 20 goddamn minutes. Daniel Farke is struggling right now. Paul Lambert, a man notorious for his brand of mind-numbingly boring football, would just force spectators into drinking shoe polish after 4 goddamn games. 19th Burnley. Oh, good lord, can you imagine if Burnley reappointed Owen Coyle? There'd almost be riots in the crowd. There aren't many things in life that the Burnley fans despise more than the existence of Owen Coyle, except maybe low-fat diets. The way he left 10 years ago, if he came back, he's probably spent every game getting pies chucked at his head. Considering his managerial career since has just consisted of a who's who of human garbage, you're damn right this team would get relegated. Especially if you're extracting the warm, fuzzy Sean Dyche after 7 years in charge. It would just be all kinds of strange. It'd be like, you know, when you were a child being turfed out of your parents' home and told to go live with that strange uncle who coaches the local kids' swimming team, despite the fact he doesn't even have a child himself. 18th West Ham. The sack of spineless West Ham players are struggling under the guidance of a former Premier League champion. Give them Gianfranco Zola, a man with all the managerial ability of a diseased foot, and oh good Christ, they probably wouldn't win another game. This is a spectacularly terrible football manager. A lad who turned up at St Andrews in December 2016, with Birmingham 7th in the league and just hovering outside the playoffs on goal difference. He managed to turn that into a relegation battle. He is someone who could be given a bottle of wine and just by touching it, turn it into a bottle of stale piss. Birmingham won twice in his 24 matches as manager. By his own admission, he's a crap coach. So inflicting him an already out of form lack of confidence, sorry West Ham bunch, it'll be like filling up your car with 3 pints of milk. It's not going to work. 17th Sheffield United. Sheffield United are doing amazingly right now, largely down to Chris Wilder. So yeah, take him out of the equation and replace him with Kevin Blackwell and quickly watch the club fall off a cliff. Blackwell, a man who spent the last 6 years stuck in the dole office and annoying the wife. If you dragged him out of his weekly routine of Jeremy Kyle, walking the dog and cleaning his toes, thrust him into the managerial dugout, oh good lord. It's been so long the man has probably forgotten the goddamn rules. He'd probably try and stick the corner flag up front. 16th Brighton. I so badly want to relegate this team, not because I have anything against Brighton, but Brighton with Gus Poyet, it just screams disaster. For Christ's sake, they were heading for the drop under Chris Hughton. Dragging Gus Poyet, a man who left the club under a cloud, a man who Vicente once called the worst man in football, the team morale will be flushed down the sink within 20 minutes of his appointment. Sacked live on TV, Poyet probably still has nothing left but hate in his heart for his former club. There'd be infighting, revolts in the crowd. Since then he's been sacked from 5 different clubs. How is that going to inspire confidence in anyone? This man is unnecessary baggage. Don't ever appoint him. They might not be relegated in this format because the other managers are just awful, but yeah, they wouldn't be hitting the 40-point mark either. It would not be a good season. 15th Watford. Oh lads, if I had made this list at the start of the year, then Watford would have Brendan Rodgers in charge. But no, instead you're gonna have Malky Mackay, a man whose career was pretty much cancelled back in 2013. Since then he's done nothing except being sacked by Wigan. Put him in charge now in real life, and Watford will be down by Christmas. But put him in this fantasy league where everyone is for some reason coached by their own manager from 10 years ago, then I guess they finish about 15th. 14th Crystal Palace. For Christ above, you'd probably have to drag Neil Warnock kicking and screaming from his back garden for this one. I mean, the lad is retired. He's lost the love for management. Ask the Cardiff fans. For the last 6 months he's been going through the motions. Yeah, he keeps teams up, but oh good lord, he actively would not want to be back at Sellers Park for a third bastard time. He seems like a man who'd rather iron his own face than face face the prospect of stepping back into a dugout at 70 years of age. He'd keep them up, but only by virtue of the bottom half being littered with truly awful, hideously terrible managers. 13 Southampton. You know, I wish I could relegate about 6 or 7 teams in this. It's becoming increasingly apparent that most managers with jobs 10 years ago are now increasingly out of touch. Alan Pardew, for instance, yeah, he was once a decent coach, reaching FA Cup finals and finishing 5th, but not now. Oh no, not now. Where once he was tipped for England. His most recent job consisted of relegating West Brom, failing to do anything with Daniel Sturridge, and overseeing a taxi-stealing piss-up at the back arse of Spain. Ralph Hasenhüttl is having a rough time of it at Southampton at the minute. Give these players Alan Pardew with 1 win in 18 games at West Brom, and half the players would probably be looking for a change in career halfway through the season. 12th, Aston Villa. For Christ's sake, you stick Martin O'Neill, football's yesterday man, in charge of this Aston Villa side. It almost doesn't bear thinking. Dean Smith has this team set up to play good football, modern football, hit teams on the break and actually score a few goals. O'Neill, I don't want to disrespect the man because he did a good job at Villa Park, and once upon a time, back in the days when dinosaurs roamed the earth, he was actually a good manager. But he's conservative, he sets teams up not to lose, and that's being polite. His primary tactic consists of boring the opposition half to death. Give him Jack Grealish, oh good lord, he turned him into the next Glenn Whelan. This is a man who lasted just 4 months at Nottingham Forest. He is not cut out for management anymore. Football has bypassed him. He's nearly 70 years of age, so handing him the job, dragging Roy Keane back in as assistant manager for a second time in the club, oh no. This would not be a fun season for Aston Villa. For a start, Keane would probably break Grealish's ankle with a goddamn sledgehammer, which would be a very bad thing to do. 11th, Leicester. Alright, Brendan Rodgers is working miracles at Leicester City this season. Would they be doing as well with Nigel Pearson? To be fair, before you laugh, the man has proved, yeah, he can instill a good work ethic and team spirit at the club. But would he have them in the top 4? No, and considering he left the club under a cloud, do you really think the Leicester owner would be comfortable having him back for a 3rd spell? No lads, it would be absolute turmoil, and half the lads would be chucking in transfer requests within 6 weeks. 10th, Wolves. Bring Mick McCarthy back to the club. A man who hasn't coached top flight in 7 years, there would be no pushes for Europe. I mean, the last time he coached a player of John Moutinho's quality, he kicked him out of the goddamn World Cup. 9th, Everton. You know what, this is one of the only clubs on top flight where this actually might become a reality next week. Because soon enough, David Moyes could actually be back at Goodison Park. Yeah, once upon a time, this man was a top half manager. But that was before the 4 sackings in a row. That was before taking the champions of England and driving them headfirst into a brick wall. This is a man who commands zero respect in football anymore. Probably has had the last morsels of confidence flushed down the sink. And so lads, if he was appointed, it would be about as much fun for Everton fans as steam grilling your face. It's a bit like going back to an ex-girlfriend from 10 years ago, who now looks and smells like the female Paul Potts. 8th, Newcastle. You know what, I actually think Newcastle might benefit from this. Bring Chris Hughton back to the club, and I think he'd have done a good job. I actually think he should have got the gig over Steve Bruce. Unlike the rest of these managers, the lad has actually had a pretty productive decade. Yeah, he was recently sacked as Brighton manager, but he's still a good coach, and he's likeable too. I think he'd instill a good team spirit like he did the first time round at Newcastle. And yeah, would have the Magpies mid-table. 7th, Man United. Yeah, I bet there's many fans out there who probably think that if Sir Alex Ferguson returned to the dugout now, he'd win them the league. No, not a chance. Yes, I realise, alright, he turned Phil Jones and Tom Cleverley into Premier League champions, but that was 6 years ago. The club has fallen a long way since then. Listen, Jose Mourinho, one of the greatest managers in the world, couldn't get this club to win the league. Yeah, Sir Alex Ferguson is the greatest manager of all time, of course he is. But he's also 77 years of age. For Christ's sake, he suffered a brain hemorrhage last year. He literally wouldn't have the energy for it anymore. And asking him to come back, it wouldn't even be fair to the man. No, a 77-year-old Alex Ferguson, it's like asking Pele to come out of retirement. It wouldn't work anymore. 6th, Arsenal. Oh, lads. Can you imagine if Arsenal were forced to dip back into the past for Arsene Wenger? The fans would have a virtual meltdown. The banners would be back. It would be toxic. You think it's bad now? Oh no, bring back Wenger. If you even hinted to Arsenal fans that they would have to step back into the realm of Wenger, a man so clearly past his best, I don't even know, I think things would probably get violent. 5th, Tottenham. Listen, Tottenham were underperforming under Mauricio Pochettino. What would they have done if you dragged in Harry Redknapp from out the wilderness? A lad who spent the last 5 years getting relegated, accepting blank paychecks out the back arse at Jordan, before spending 6 weeks in the jungle alongside Fleur East and the Vamps. Yeah, Redknapp created a good bond and team spirit and a good team back when he was Spurs manager, but that was a while ago now. Put a weary 72-year-old Harry Redknapp, fresh from eating bird shit out of the back arse of the jungle. I admit I don't watch the show. For all I know, Ian Wright is currently sucking a cow's tit for money. I don't know. But what I do know is that if you put Redknapp in charge of England's greatest striker right now, he'd be laughed out the building, and the players would revolt at not having Poch or Mourinho. 4th, Bournemouth. Oh lads, this is an absolute farce. Bournemouth, 4th? Bournemouth in a Champions League spot? I haven't broken my brain, lads, I have reasons for this. Lads, do not underestimate the power of consistency. Bournemouth are the only club in this list who wouldn't have to change their manager. Make no mistake about it, in a world where everyone is dipping 10 years into the past, like returning to your ex-wife and desperately hoping the spark comes back, Bournemouth would be the only club with no unnecessary upheaval, with no past managers dragged in from the unemployment line. No, they still have Eddie Howe, who just go about the same work he's doing now. Imagine this well-oiled, functioning unit spending 9 months playing against a bunch of teams coached by 70-year-old past managers, some of whom haven't been employed in years. Yeah, put Howe up against Warnock, Pardew, Martin O'Neill and Malky Mackay, lads who would currently be lucky to get jobs in League One, and yeah, Bournemouth would win nearly every week. Third, Man City. This day, 10 years ago, Man City's manager was Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes. You give that man this City team and it would be hilarious watching Raheem Sterling having been forced to take orders from a man sacked by Stoke. Sergio Aguero having to actually take seriously QPR's failed manager. City have the best squad in the league, but give them to Hughes and it's like giving a Rolls Royce to a drunken toddler. He wouldn't know what to do with it. I'm torn. City have a great squad, but it's Mark Hughes. Third at best. Second, Chelsea. Chelsea with Carlo Ancelotti back at the club. You know what? I think it might actually work. Assuming he would return to a club who once sacked him on the back of a bus. I think his style of attacking play would suit this team, considering they've scored the most goals in England this season. It might take a bit of time as he doesn't know the players inside out like Frank Lampard. But yeah, I think the Napoli coach would do a decent job. First, Liverpool. Listen, give Rafa Benitez this Liverpool team. I'm not sure it would really work. He's a defensive coach. This team is set up to play Klopp's high-pressing, expensive, attacking style of football. Listen, Rafa is a top manager, but he's not really suited to this Liverpool team. But still, he is a good manager, a very good manager, and this is a top squad. And the main competitors, Man City, will be coached by Mark Hughes. Yeah, Liverpool would win the league, sure. So alright, that's it. What a thorough waste of time. But lads, let me know. Do you think I've gone full insane? Most probably. I mean, for Christ's sake, I predicted Bournemouth to finish top 4. But hey, alright, at least I offered a reason for it. So let me know in the comment section below. How do you think your team would do with your manager from 10 years back? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.